Welcome, everyone, to the Flowing Health podcast. I've been on for a while, so I'm excited to be back on here. I've had quite a few guests. If you want to listen to previous recordings, just click on the link and you can have a listen to some really interesting guests I've had in the last few months. But today it's just you and me, and the theme is it's Mental Health Awareness Month this month. So I want to talk a little bit about calming down the mind, calming the emotions. Some of you know I've been doing Qigong for over 35 years, which is an energy practice to actually settle the mind, tune into the energy beyond our own, and use it to allow the energy to flow through the body to recharge our system and to calm the emotions, to bring us a sense of inner peace. And one of the main inspirations that I always like to go to and read is the Tao Te Ching, which is a classic written 2,500 years ago. And there's a particular chapter I'm going to share with you today. So maybe we can do a short meditation together if you'll join with me. And the theme is let the mind rest at peace. So it's chapter 16. Which starts, empty yourself of everything. Let the mind rest at peace. So how do we do that? It says here in the Tao Te Ching, returning to the source is stillness, which is the way of nature. And if we observe, say, a tree, how still it is, even in the stillness, it's actually absorbing light and it's absorbing nourishment from the earth and water. And even an oak tree, I think, can absorb something like 8 or 10 liters of water per minute, but it looks like nothing's happening. So nature is a great teacher, and we are part of nature. So I love this aspect of Qigong, that it's a study of humans and animals and nature and the cosmos and how everything fits together. So if we observe nature, say a tree, the way it's grounded into the earth, that's a great inspiration into how we can be grounded every day. What can we do to ground ourselves, to center ourselves? And when we really tune in to the energy system that we are and how we're all connected, then this could really help us on many levels. So we're going to just do a little short meditation. I'm going to read this chapter. I just had an idea because I did this with a couple of friends the other day and it worked very well, where we'll get into some breath work to settle the mind, settle the emotions, and then I'll read this during the meditation. So actually we can reflect on it, because sometimes if we read something in an intellectual way, the mind either wants to disagree or disprove it or think, what is this all about? And when I started reading this book 40 years ago, I did think, what is this all about? And then when I started practicing Qigong, it started to make sense, this idea of returning to the source is stillness. What source? Where do we come from? Where are we going? This is a whole kind of mystery, that we are made up of an energy that's very hard to quantify, and even science can't really describe what existed before life on earth existed. Something existed, which in Taoism, they talk about the Tao. It's something mysterious that was there before anything was created, before the 10,000 things were created. And we come from there. So as humans, if we can tune into this stillness, this natural state of ours, then we can really benefit in many ways. So let's start together. If you want to join me, if you're listening, you just take a comfortable position. If you're watching, you can watch me, but my feet are flat into the ground. My back is straightish, as straight as can be. So if you're sitting on a chair, sit towards the front part of the chair so we're not collapsed or slouched over. If the spine is straight, the energy can move more easily, effortlessly up and down the spine. And then let's tune into the breath and actually sense the breath down to the lower abdomen. If you gently put your hands below the belly button, and women, the right hand on the inside, men, the left hand on the inside. One hand over the other, gently on the lower abdomen, just below the belly button. That's our main energy center. In Chinese, called the dantian. In yoga, also the main energy center. And just tune in. If you breathe in deeply, feel this area expanding gently. Breathing out, feel this area contracting gently. You can just breathe in and out through the nose gently. As you breathe in, feel this area expanding. So this is where we breathe when we're first born. Young children always breathe here. You see this area moving up and down very effortlessly, very naturally. As adults, especially if we get tense or anxious, we tend to breathe a little bit shallow in the lungs, quite high up. So if we bring the attention down here, gentle movement, sense the warmth maybe building up. If you don't feel the warmth, it's okay. Gradually, it will build up. This is our energy center where we cultivate our internal energy. So just allow the breath to gently move the dantian. I'm going to read this chapter as we listen to it. So if you gently close your eyes, if you're listening, even if you're watching, just gently close your eyes, tune in and just take in some of the words, some of the inspiration. It's not about understanding it all, agreeing. It's just some ideas written 2,500 years ago, which can really help to inspire us, to take us into a deeper state. And just stay with the breath. Stay with the stillness of the breath in the lower abdomen. As if the lower abdomen is breathing for us. If you really drop the attention there, just allow it to move gently. Notice how you're breathing deeply and naturally. I'm just going to ring this Tibetan bowl to start the meditation, and then when I finish the reading, I'll ring it again. So just stay in your breathing, take in any inspiration, or just stay in a relaxed state. Empty yourself of everything. Let the mind rest at peace. The 10,000 things rise and fall while the self watches their return. They grow and flourish, then return to the source. Returning to the source is stillness, which is the way of nature. The way of nature is unchanging. Knowing constancy is insight. Not knowing constancy leads to disaster. Knowing constancy, the mind is open. With an open mind, you will be open-hearted. Being open-hearted, you will act royally. Being royal, you will attain the divine. Being divine, you will be at one with the Tao. Being at one with the Tao is eternal. And though the body dies, the Tao will never pass away. So some beautiful lines there. With an open mind, you will be open-hearted. We can continue breathing down here. Continue resting in this deep state. And even two lines like that, or one line like that, with an open mind, you will be open-hearted. So when we rest the mind and the thoughts on the breath, the mind opens up. The mind, as they say in Buddhism, is limitless as the sky. We let the thoughts come and go and drift off. And in the Qigong tradition, the mind is in the heart. So actually, if we can drop in to the breath, rest at the heart, just sense the heart more open, more spacious. We can just close the eyes again. Just sense the heart at peace, at ease. Open-hearted means receiving the love, the energy that's always available to us, allowing it to wash over us, absorb into the heart. Mind open to the sky. Breath gently moving the lower abdomen. Drop the effort. The heart is the ruler of the emotions. So actually, when we rest the breath, when we rest in the heart, open the mind, the whole body benefits. Just sense the heart spacious, smiling. You can smile with your eyes, with your mouth. Feel every cell smiling. Just noticing the breath, the mind empty, any thoughts drifting off quickly like clouds in the breeze. And this idea of returning to source, just dropping into this spaciousness, awareness, as if you can dissolve into the air around us, the earth underneath us. When we're in a deep state like this, often we might hear sounds, but notice we're not disturbed by the sounds. Often sounds can be quite disturbing. So we just learn to cultivate this peaceful state through the breath, tuning into the heart, observing nature, which we're all part of. Just grip the earth with your toes, move the fingers. Some deeper breathing to begin to come out of this short meditation. You move the fingers actually helps the mind become more alert. The fingers relate to the senses, to the internal organs. So just close, open a few times. So if you watch this again, you can pause it, and if you go into a deeper meditation, just continue with the breath, with settling your energy. Notice the emotions settling down, the whole body. And sometimes just reading something like this or listening to something can really help take us into a deeper state. There's so many sort of beautiful lines in this. Knowing constancy is insight. So thanks for listening, everyone. Take care of yourselves. Let the mind rest at peace and take time for self-care for yourselves. Please share this if you enjoyed it and if you found it inspiring. And in the notes, I'm going to put in chapter 16 of the Tao Te Ching, which is the one I read out. Take care of yourselves. Stay well, stay safe, everybody.